like, then somehow you're not meant for more. But that's simply not true. The only thing your current position reveals is what's been reinforced over time by your actions. And that means if you start reinforcing new actions, a new future becomes inevitable. Every day, you're making choices that either bring you closer to the life you want or keep you stuck where you are. And often, it's not the big, obvious decisions that make the difference. It's the small, seemingly insignificant ones. The decision to start your morning scrolling through social media or use that time to set your intentions for the day. The choice to say yes to something out of obligation or to honor your own boundaries. The choice to let fear stop you from speaking up or to push through and have the conversation that could change everything. Each of these moments on their own might not seem like they matter, but repeated over time, they shape your entire reality. Think about the person you want to become. The version of you that has the confidence, the success, the relationships, the happiness you dream of. That person isn't waiting for the perfect conditions to take action. That person isn't making excuses. They're making choices every day that align with the life they want. And that's what you have to start doing now. Not tomorrow, not when you feel more motivated, not when life feels easier. Now, if you want to be confident, you don't wait until you magically feel confident one day. You act in ways that a confident person would, even when it's uncomfortable. If you want to be successful, you don't wait until someone gives you permission. You start putting in the effort, learning, showing up, refining your skills. If you want to be healthier, you don't wait until the perfect moment to start. You make the next meal a better one, the next workout happen, the next decision count. Most people sabotage themselves not because they lack talent or potential, but because they tell themselves a story that keeps them stuck. I've never been good at this. It's too late for me. I'm just not that kind of person. But those are just narratives, not facts. And every day, you have the choice to reinforce the old story or start writing a new one. And let's be honest, there's a reason why change is hard. It's because what's familiar is comfortable, even when it's not serving you. It's easier to do what you've always done because that's what your brain is wired to repeat. But comfort isn't the goal. Growth is. And growth requires making decisions that feel unfamiliar, that challenge your old patterns, that push you beyond what you've known. That's why so many people stay stuck, not because they can't change, but because they keep choosing what feels easy over what moves them forward. But here's the thing, once you start making different choices, once you start showing up differently, even in small ways, something incredible happens. You start to trust yourself more. You start to see yourself differently. And that's when momentum kicks in. Because nothing builds confidence like keeping promises to yourself. Nothing makes you feel more powerful than realizing you're in control of your actions. And by extension, your future. You don't have to have everything figured out today. You don't need to know exactly how you're going to get from where you are to where you want to be. You just need to start reinforcing the habits, the behaviors, the mindset of the person you want to become. One small, intentional decision at a time. So if you're feeling behind, if you're wondering why things aren't happening for you yet, stop looking for some massive breakthrough. Start looking at the tiny daily actions that will accumulate into success. That's the real secret. The future isn't something that just arrives. It's something you create, choice by choice, moment by moment, starting now. Most people spend their lives waiting for the right moment, waiting for confidence, waiting for a perfect plan. Why? They sit on the sidelines, convincing themselves that once they feel ready, once everything aligns just right, then they'll finally take the leap. But the truth is, waiting doesn't lead to readiness. Action does. The people who achieve the things you want aren't necessarily smarter or more talented. They're just the ones who stopped waiting for permission. The biggest myth we buy into is that successful people had everything figured out before they started. That they had an unshakable confidence, a clear roadmap, and every skill needed to execute their vision. But if you ask anyone who has built something meaningful, they'll tell you the opposite. They began before they felt ready. They took the leap before they had all the answers. And they learned along the way, because the real difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent or luck. It's that one group started while the other hesitated. Fear of failure is the biggest excuse for inaction. We tell ourselves, what if I mess up? What if I embarrass myself? What if I'm not good enough? But let's flip that for a second. What if you never start? What if 5 years from now, you're in the same place, still wondering what could have been? The regret of inaction is far more painful than any failure ever will be, because failure at least teaches you something. It gives you experience. It moves you forward. An atai and show at the sky. But doing nothing? That keeps you stuck. Most of the things we're afraid of are just illusions. We think people are waiting to judge us, but the truth is, no one is watching as closely as we think. People are too busy worrying about their own lives to scrutinize yours. And even if they do have opinions, so what? At the end of the day, it's your life. They don't have to live with the consequences of your inaction. You do. So if you're letting the fear of what others think hold you back, you're letting people who don't even play a role in your happiness dictate your future. That's insanity. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes from action. No one feels truly confident before they do something for the first time. Think about when you learned to drive. The first time you got behind the wheel, you weren't confident. You were nervous, maybe even terrified. But you kept going. And now, driving is second nature. Life works the same way. The more you do something, the better you get. The better you get, the more confident you feel. But that cycle only starts when you take the first step. If you're waiting for the fear to disappear before you start, you'll be waiting forever. Fear doesn't vanish. It gets quieter as you build momentum. The first time you do something new, the voice of doubt is loud. But with every small step you take, that voice loses its power. Your actions prove it wrong. And eventually, the fear that once controlled you becomes nothing more than background noise. You don't need anyone's permission to go after the life you want. Not from your family, not from your friends, not from society. Some of you are waiting for external validation, for someone to tell you that you're good enough, that your dreams are worth pursuing. But if you need validation to begin, what happens when you don't get it? Are you really going to let your future be decided by whether or not someone else approves? If you believe in something, that's enough. The only validation you need is the one you give yourself. Most people dream of the life they want. Fewer take the first step toward it, and even fewer stick with it long enough to see it through. That's what separates the successful from the ones who never quite make it. It's not about having all the answers. It's about showing up over and over again, even when you don't feel ready, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels like nothing is working. Because the ones who keep showing up eventually find their breakthrough. Here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to knock on your door and hand you your dream life. If you want something, you have to go and get it. That's the reality. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start making real progress. You don't have to know exactly how to get there. You just have to start. And the moment you do, you take back control. You stop being a spectator in your own life and become the one writing the story. So if you're waiting for a sign, here it is. Stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop telling yourself you'll do it later. Later is a lie. Later turns into never. And you owe yourself more than that. Whatever it is you've been putting off, take the first step today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be something. Because once you start moving, you realize you never needed permission in the first place. There's this pressure that society puts on us to have everything figured out by a certain age. You look around and it seems like everyone is racing ahead, getting their dream job, finding the perfect partner, making more money, traveling the world, while you're standing still, wondering if you've already fallen behind. And the more you think about it, the more it feels like you've missed some invisible deadline, like there was some master plan that you somehow failed to follow. But here's what no one tells you. There is no deadline. There is no race. The only timeline that matters is the one that works for you. We have this idea that success, happiness, and fulfillment should happen fast. That if we haven't made it by a certain point, then maybe we never will. But speed is not a measure of value. The fact that something takes longer doesn't make it less meaningful. Think about the things in life that truly matter. Deep relationships, a fulfilling career, genuine self-confidence. These things don't happen overnight. They are built layer by layer through experiences, failures, adjustments, and growth. You are not late. You are not behind. You are simply on your own path. It's easy to look at someone else's success and think, why not me? Why haven't I gotten there yet? But comparison is a trap. The people you admire, they have their own struggles, their own doubts, their own insecurities. You see their highlight reel, but you don't see the years they spent struggling in the dark, questioning everything, wondering if they'd ever make it. You don't see their moments of self-doubt, their failures, their heartbreaks. You only see where they are now. And even if they got there faster than you, that doesn't mean their journey is more valid than yours. A flower doesn't bloom faster just because the one next to it did. It blooms when it's ready, and so will you. There are people who rushed into things, thinking speed was everything, only to realize they were chasing the wrong goal. They got the job, but they hate it. They got into a relationship, but they feel empty. They followed the timeline they thought they were supposed to follow, only to realize it wasn't making them happy. What's the point of getting somewhere quickly if it's not even where you want to be? It's not about being first, it's about being right. And the only way to make sure you're on the right path is to take your time, to trust yourself, and to move at a pace that allows you to grow, learn, and actually enjoy the process. If you've ever felt like you're falling behind, I want you to ask yourself, behind what? Who decided that success has an expiration date? Who made the rule that you have to figure it all out by 25 or 30 or even 40? Some of the most successful people in the world didn't hit their stride until later in life. Vera Wang didn't design her first dress until she was 40. Colonel Sanders didn't start KFC until he was in his 60s. J.K. Rowling was rejected over and over before she finally got published in her 30s. The point is, life doesn't care about arbitrary timelines. It only cares about whether or not you're willing to keep going. Some of the most incredible people you will ever meet are the ones who took their time. They made mistakes, they learned from them, they fell, they got back up. And because they didn't rush, because they allowed themselves the space to grow, they became deeper, more interesting, more fulfilled individuals. They didn't just achieve success, they built a life that felt meaningful to them. And that's the goal, isn't it? Not just to make it, but to actually feel proud of the journey it took to get there. You might not be where you want to be yet. That's okay. What matters is that you keep moving, even if it's at your own pace. The small steps you take today, the lessons you learn, the experiences you gather, all of these are shaping you into the person you need to become to handle the things you want in life. There is no right time. There is only the time you have and the way you choose to use it. So don't rush. Don't force yourself into a timeline that was never meant for you. Trust that your path is unfolding exactly as it should. And when you do get there, when you finally arrive at the place that feels right, You'll realize that every step,